Are we live? Didn't even give me the countdown this time. Let's see. Let's see if we're live. Live stream staying studio connecting, starting preview. Last stream was on YouTube. It grabbed it. Excellent connection. And we are live. Fantastic. Welcome to another wonderful week of Zombros podcast. This week's Streamlabs OBS doesn't even give me a countdown anymore. It just tells me maybe you're live. Welcome to another wonderful week of Zombies action. I'm joined by my co-host with the most patience and confidence in the YouTube algorithm, unwilling to change thumbnails, taking the right way forward, Johnny J25. How are you doing?
Doing good. I'm doing very good.
Oh, Jesus.
What?
Did you have a late night?
No.
Oh, okay. It sounded like this very peaceful, very resolute, like, I'm good. I survived the tortured path, because that's what we're going to be talking about today on Zombros. We played
30 rounds of shit.
Yeah, it was a time. We have the tortured path today, a little bit of Zetsubo Nishima's birthday, and your submitted topics for another wonderful week of zombies discussions on the Zombro podcast. I'm still high off of Chopper last week. So many good discussions. I just wanted to reiterate what a wonderful guest having Chopper on was. Not that any other guests aren't wonderful, but it electric charged me, man. It got me excited, digging into all sorts of mechanical ideas of gameplay inside zombies, which is right around the corner. So, do you want to talk about the tortured path, John? What was your first impressions all these years later playing the tortured path?
Yeah, so I never played the tortured path until yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it was good. But I would, if I had played it on release, I would be disappointed because it's not a zombies map like we think of a zombies map.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you can't just like play it casually like a zombies map too is pretty shitty.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's good. Their heart's in the right place, and I said this to you as we played it together. And you guys actually, if you're a patron, you can go see it.
It'll be up.
If you posted it or not
Tonight. It's gonna be up tonight.
Okay, you can check it out on the Patreon tonight. If you're not a Patreon, check it out. Link in the description. But I said in the playthrough we did, I was like, this has like, I feel like this is what Gauntlets could have been, or if you mix this idea with Gauntlets, then you would have had a much more successful thing, like arena styled short 10 rounds of challenges or 30 rounds, but like break it into sets of 10 and make it more arena based rather than Gauntlets where it gave you like the whole map to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Like it you could tell that it does a lot of good things, but oh man, I would be totally disappointed if this came out on like release and that was just what we had as our DLC to carry us over. Because it really, I think you play it, you beat it once, you do the Easter egg, and then I don't think there's much left to do.
I would agree. Well, you get the survival maps, and I had a lot of fun. I remember playing the survival maps. We didn't really dive into them at all on our playthrough, and I doubt you continue to try out the survival maps like normal. But they function like a Grossen house, a town, a farm, a bus depot of sorts. And that's not really for a DLC, right? For a full zombies experience. You're not looking for the cut-up maps. You're looking for all three maps. I think that's one of your expectations. You thought we were going to go from one map into the next map into the next map in the areas inside one single game.
I imagined you kind of feeling a little bit like Extinction.
Yeah, yes.
You know, like it's going to take an hour or an hour and a half to play through, and it's going to be more like a mission.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get that really at all.
Mm-hmm. We do know the reward. We talked about this again. You can watch it on our full playthrough that goes up on for the Zombros patrons. But we did talk about the fact that, yeah, you got it as a reward, the survival maps, which is a really cool concept. The merits are definitely there. But think about the person that's not going through, that's not going to play through all three maps and survive. I wonder if it was the base just survive the 10 rounds and it unlocks, or was do the Easter eggs? Because if it's the Easter egg, that's a layer worse. If it is just survive the 10 rounds, then it's something to strive for. But still, when you're talking about the scope of a DLC release, there's a much higher expectation. I was talking with my buddy Ryan last night until 3 a.m. about zombie stuff because he really liked diving into the recent mainframe videos. Shameless plug, go watch that mainframe video after this podcast about Pack-a-Punch. And we talked about like how it went from like launch maps are the best maps now because it has the most development. Where in the past, every map was getting a little bit better, or at least trying something significantly to push the game mode forward, where it feels like Shadows of Evil on launch is one of the biggest maps. And it didn't feel too much that way because Gorod pushed the boundaries. So we're like, okay, that's pretty good. But Blood of the Dead 9, Voyage, and Classified, more than 3 base maps, were definitely the maps that had by and large the most time put into them compared to Black Ops 4 the rest of the DLC season. This feels a similar way. We discussed it with World War II Zombies. It feels like the Final Reich had something really good about it. It definitely had something challenging the zombie formula. But then they didn't have funding and resources. So then we got the Darkest Shore, the Tortured Path. These don't feel like a full Zombies DLC all this time later. This isn't the next step.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. It's like you see, and we talked about this when we were playing like the boat map,
Mm-hmm.
and you had told me that like they were planning on doing a boat map, but it got canceled because Charrick was working on Voyage.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, I totally see how this could have just been what they had of the boat map, and then scrapped and reworked into like the Darkest Shore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like okay, well, yeah, so now we just have it. Then it's like you ask the question, well, is this DLC just a compilation of the leftovers?
Yes, all the prototype maps is probably what it was, and they strapped it together and they tried their best to make it something great. I think it was also cutting their losses where, okay, this DLC is going to suck, so we're going to put all the money into Frozen Dawn. So we have the cutscenes and we have a full map.
Yeah, and I feel like you could maybe suggest that the first map was just a bunch of assets from multiplayer, just general villagey assets,
okay,
thrown together into a map.
Because
I think it's a very uninspired location. It's just a village.
Yeah,
and I'm sure they have all sorts of assets that work well for that. So they could have just said to like a couple map designers, okay, just make us a village. Use what you have. You're not making anything new.
Right.
And then you're like, well, we have these old boat concepts. Let's just throw that in. And then it almost feels like the last one is very much inspired by the Frozen Dawn. Actually, you have similar assets in there too.
Yep.
So they're probably already working on it. They said, well, let's take what we have here and just make a little mini area, make a little arena.
I agree.
But I'm not opposed to arena style maps, and I'm not opposed to them like reworking assets or cut content.
So this is where the next step in a retrospective is so interesting to me, where there's that needed distance between you and the game and the release. To me, it functions as a fun arcade mode, and especially when you can unlock the sword, even inside those little times, you have these boss rushes that happen. It's jump quick. It's 20 minutes. You're going to be done in 20 or 30 minutes with this game, whether you like it or not, unless you're going for the Easter egg. Easter eggs were agonizing from what I remember to getting through them with the fish, Simon Says, and lining up the windmill with a zombie attached to it. It's stuff to me that just like rolling my eyes at, that I don't find that much interesting. That gets back to the tediousness, and it's like, why are we doing this stuff? Where the hell's the logic and reason to all that? But I like, even here on gameplay that's being shown right now, when the blimp came in, I don't remember the blimp. It definitely was probably in here as one of the challenge rounds, but just like, oh shit, we're just fighting the blimp. Little ways that change how the gameplay functions. I liked how LMGs are being unlocked. You buy a random gun. You get a random assault rifle from wall buys. You're getting these drops every 3 rounds, and you have challenges every 3 rounds. So you're getting shields, and they're giving you free weapons, and you might be like, oh, I want to try out a bazooka. There's no box. Let me see how this functions. And we started having a really good time when you started shooting the bazooka off, or you got the crossbow later on. And it changed how we were approaching the gameplay.
Well, like the continuous unlocks feels very tower defense, which is Zombies' roots.
Yes.
Like, so you have the whatchamacallits, the oh God, why can't I think of it? Yeah, so you have like the continuous unlocks, but you get them as time goes on. So it's like, I'm not gonna get Pack-a-Punch till maybe round 7, which is probably right around the time that I need Pack-a-Punch, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it works out in that sense. And so I'm getting these things as time goes on, and I'm continuously upgrading myself. And like normal zombies kind of just throws everything at you pretty early or at once, or you can
Mm.
get everything really early if you're efficient enough. Whereas like this, I'm kind of forced to use what I have at the moment, which isn't a bad thing. So I like that aspect of it. Or it was like we didn't get the bazooka till like later in the game, but I didn't really need it early in the game. And in fact, if I got it early in the game, I probably would have accidentally, or not accidentally, but just swapped it out.
Mm-hmm.
But then I had it like around round 6 or 7 or so, and then I decided to Pack-a-Punch it, and then it was really helpful for when the Moistlers came, and I would just take that fully automatic rocket launcher and just mow them down. Like, they were nothing.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. You'll see coming up in the gameplay as well. I know I definitely had my safety net where I kept the sapper, and the sapper is one of the best guns, the handguns. And here's John about to get the rocket launcher in game. But I thoroughly enjoyed seeing how when I pack a bunch of these weapons organically, they prep you, and the zombies' health is scaled differently. They're compressing like a 30-round game into a 10-round game. And when you go to pack a punch, I was surprised. Like you told me, you pack a punch an LMG and you're shooting grenades. I forgot about all the extras of the
Yeah, but that grenade LMG sucked.
oh, there you go. But there might be mods that might make it better, and it also depends on actually mods are the modifications to your classes. I was also going to suggest classes that you select, because I'm amazed how like one of the classes that I had optimized for our boss fights, the lucky crit you'll see in this gameplay as well, with the Free Fire, I think Hardline's another one that has a mix of classes, just drops bosses. It's disgusting how much damage you can do, and I really love that synergy, very similar to one of the peak features in Extinction. Took me a while to remember the name of that game mode. Was the synergy you get between your friends when you play, and someone's running the medic class, someone's running the centuries, and Chopper even brought this up last week. I like how there's definitely a dynamic for finding a synergy between mods and abilities inside the game. Now, is it better to get the modifications inside the game instead of doing them in menuing? I really am push my preference.
We don't like perks and menus,
Yes.
but we do like modifications that basically act like perks and menus. You know, like it's there's a line. I don't know where that line is.
Right. I think cosmetic rewards are great in menus, but I want in-game upgrades to be or I want upgrades like weapon upgrade systems to be in game. I think this is my preference. This is how I've developed over the years for what I think I like zombies to be. And I like having the attachments. I like pack-a-punching my guns. I like having them become powerful inside the game, not grinding to make them more powerful outside, which is in contrast to the preference and play style people who play Black Ops 4. That's where I believe I clash with those ideas, and many people do. If you like grinding to get your awesome weapons, BO4 is great at that. I liked how in Derice, you pop it in and it's good. You're done. You have the best weapon, and you don't feel like you're playing with something lesser.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
How do you feel about being able to buy Pack-a-Punch ammo for 4,000 on the Pack-a-Punch machine in World War II Zombies?
Compared to paying $450, it's not that really big of a deal.
Well, for it's any weapon. Wall weapons.
Yeah, that is a nice feature. I think I don't know why that's not a thing.
Right? It's still a punishment. Yeah. I mean, like, I can't buy ray gun ammo anymore. It's like, at what point does it matter anymore, right?
Well, okay, so I don't think you should be able to buy, like, ray gun ammo, and I don't think you should be able to buy Wunderwaffe ammo.
Okay.
But I would like to be able to buy, like, a regular gun's pack-a-punched ammo.
PPSH, MG42,
you know what? Actually, I'm fine with it. Because so you run out of like pack-a-punch ammo, well then either just hit the box and repack a punch, or go and or just buy a wall weapon instead.
Do you think that just artificially inflates the tediousness of the game? Like you're just sitting there, well, I'm gonna get this gun anyway. I'm just gonna spend a bunch of points, waste a bunch of time, and repack a punch it.
No, I mean like if you run out of pack-a-punch ammo,
for
either get lucky for your weapon, either get lucky with a max ammo, or wait for a dog round or something, or just hit the box and then take whatever weapon it gives you and pack a punch it. You know.
All right, it's more like trying to get the flow of the game going to try a new weapon once you run
Yeah,
out.
yeah. It gets you to try new and different weapons.
Okay,
And
I'm
I
seeing that.
definitely don't think I should be able to go and buy Wonderwaff ammo for $4,000 or $4,500.
Is that exclusive to Wonder Weapons or all weapons? Is your idea here?
I do believe that should be especially limited to Wonder Weapons, but I'm
Yeah.
okay with it being box weapons too,
Mm-hmm.
because you then just hit the box for a new box weapon.
I'm more on board with the Wonder Weapons. I think that's a fair idea, just to be like, go put it away, go get it out of the box again. If you want to try and get this, these are the most powerful weapons of the game. Or wait for max ammo. I like the fact a lot that I could just buy PPSH ammo or MG42 ammo or Sapper ammo, depending on the game. Just get in there.
But
and play.
if you want to buy a weapon that you can continuously buy ammo for, then just pack a bunch of wall weapon.
Yeah, but
Like,
then you're now restricted to the limitation of wall weapons, and World War II is a victim actually of having too many weapons in the box. IW
but if you want some of the more fun and unique weapons, then you hit the box, which is a bit random. But the punishment for getting that unique weapons is that, well, once you're done with it, you're kind of done with it. Go hit the box again.
Okay.
Like, you shouldn't think about your wall weapons like your reliable staple that you can keep coming back to, because you got it by random chance anyway. Whereas the wall weapon, you know exactly what you're purchasing, you know where it's always going to be, and you know you can get that ammo. Like, I know that I can go to the wall, pay $1,200, and I'm going to get a Thompson. Whereas I'm going to hit the mystery box for $950, which is a cheaper price, and I can get anything from a Wonderwaff to a pistol.
Yeah. No,
like, you're already rolling the dice, so why should that weapon that you got on chance be something that you can reliably count on? You got it at a discount, and you got it by chance. So why should it be something that you can reliably count on throughout the game?
That's totally logical. I think I'm just tired of that being the rule. After 40 installments, it's like, why not play with that? And that's probably why I like World War II being able to do that. But that makes perfect sense, though. I do not deny any of your logic. I like it.
Yeah, just buy a wall weapon. Which, honestly, like in Black Ops 2, that was all I was doing anyway. I was buying the AK-94, the PDW, the SVU. Like, they had some good wall weapons.
They did. And that was interesting, because the argument always comes up of like, do you put crap weapons in the box so then the good weapons feel even better? I know that's a normal argument that I hear from people being like, well, Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2 weapon selection was excellent. I thought Black Ops 1's weapon selection sucked. I thought it was really, really boring in sense of what weapons were good and what weren't. I like the attachment features when you pack-a-punch them that did make them feel unique, but I'm talking about killing power. By around 25, nothing's working except wonder weapons and traps. That's just it for Black Ops 1. With Black Ops 3, it gets back into the discussion we had about Pack-a-Punch. It no longer matters about the gun anymore. We're now talking about the ability that comes with the gun. You don't care about your Vesper. You can get all the ammo you want, or even a Dingo. You care about the Blast Furnace feature that activates.
Yeah, well, once every gun got Blast Furnace or any of the others, Deadwire, whichever, they suddenly all became the same weapon.
Exactly.
Which was shoot until you get the alternate ammo type.
Yes. So
the weapon inherently, they all get boiled down to the same cone of paint.
Yeah, and I think that's something World War II and the Torture Path made me excited about again. Not to have that coat of paint that's exactly the same. Now, I know whenever I talk about the uniqueness of these weapons, there's a huge caveat, is not all of them are utterly and completely unique by any means, because they're like explosives. Some guns shoot explosives. Some guns are now automatic. Like, there's only so many features you can tick to make them unique, but trying to like go back to World at War, where all of a sudden you get a grenade launcher with the M1 Garand, the carbine is automatic. Just enough tiny tweaking with the guns, I think, is a great way to still maintain that identity with them. So you're like, oh yeah, that gun plays specific. When I pack-a-punch the M1911 for the first time, it felt different. And the Mustang and Sally plays completely different from the World at War M1911. So there's a way you can still play with this, so they have identities inside the game, just like we lost with perks and the whole sandbox of it all.
Yeah, well, it's like I pack a punch that LMG, and suddenly it was shooting explosives.
Mhm.
I pack a punch the crossbow, and then it had explosive tips,
Mhm.
as opposed to beforehand, it was just a crossbow.
Yeah.
It wasn't exploding, and that was fun.
Yeah, and they were dodging out of the way as you saw.
Or
Uh,
I don't know what they were doing. I
it
couldn't
might have been
tell.
glitching, by the way, too, because I thought I saw gameplay of people actually hitting and impacting with the bow, but I
Well, I
might.
would shoot them. I would shoot them from point blank, and as soon as I would shoot, they would always do like a roll,
Yeah.
and then the arrow would go through, and it would just land on another on just like it would land on a point through them,
Okay.
like just on the other side of the room, you know. And so I couldn't tell if them flopping over was a reaction to the arrow flying through their body, or if
Hmm.
it was a reaction to the arrow, like they're programmed to roll, tuck and roll. You know,
Yes.
I'm not sure what was going on there.
Yeah, it was strange, and I'm really curious to jump on it again. I'm actually going to be playing the Final Reich this Thursday for my speedrun streams. I don't know if I'm actually going to be speedrunning it, but I'm going to be playing through my weekly Thursday streams at the very least. And I'll definitely test that out. But I like the idea of at least it was something different, right? They added that extra layer to make it like, well, the zombies have a different animation when I shoot them with this. That's pretty
Mhm.
cool. Obviously, you can't animate every zombie specifically for every gun in the game,
Well,
but it's
actually, they were flipping and rolling with the other arrows too.
okay. So
Or no, so it was the whistlings that were rolling,
okay.
but the other zombies would just die.
Hmm.
It was like if you don't kill them, then they do this roll.
Okay.
So I feel like it's a reaction to them getting hit. I don't really know.
Yeah, that probably makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
it should be the reaction to getting hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's like I'd be like point blank and it doesn't hit them.
Right. What
Or
else
it
about the
looks like it doesn't hit them.
what else about the torture path stuck out to you, both good and bad? Was there any little things you really liked about it, or anything that really turned you off?
It definitely felt formulaic.
Okay.
You know, it was like the third round you're gonna get a wave of special zombies, and the first two it gave you the bomb zombies. But then the fourth one it gave you the fire ones, which they I was not ready for.
Whoa, yeah, you have to be prepared for those sizzlers.
Yeah, but
Are a
it's
pain.
you could tell there was a formula, and I would have liked it if each map. It's okay to follow the formula, but I think each one should have had different elements. You know, where it's like put the bomb zombies in the first one,
Mm-hmm.
and then the second one give them like the you know like whatever their dog's equivalent was. I forget what they were called.
Sizzlers.
No,
No.
they weren't on fire.
Oh, dogs. There was dogs
They're
equivalent.
not actually dogs. They're
Yeah.
zombies. They have a bunch of flies on them and stuff. But
Yes. Pests or something else.
yeah, like the pest zombies. Make the pest zombies a special round,
Mm-hmm.
and then for the last one, use the sizzlers.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think that variety was always there.
Yeah, and the Sizzler so early on at round 5 is such a death sentence for the torture path. Like that happens
Mhm.
so often. You'll see in our Frozen Dawn we get hit with the Sizzlers and just barely by the skin of our teeth get through it. We weren't able to beat the not the Frozen Dawn, the Beneath the Ice, which is the Frozen Dawn looking map. We weren't able to beat that boss, and we weren't able to beat the ship. We got caught at the end when it just started going ridiculous. We forgot we had Jack in the Boxes, and that was totally our
Yeah,
bad.
that was dumb of us. We
That
were
was so
both like
dumb.
going down, and we forgot we had Jack in the
my
boxes.
God. Easily, we would have had the last 30 seconds if we just started throwing Jack in the Boxes everywhere. That was our mistake. The map was way too small for the boat. Oh my God. That boat
Yeah.
map is so small and claustrophobic, but I do like the dynamics of like the idea the map is slowly changing and closing off corridors and passages. There's something to that idea. I don't think it was implemented like perfectly or in a way that was really wow, mind blowing. But I think there's something really cool still about that idea of the ship is rocking back and forth, and all of a sudden, oh, you can't go in this area. You now got to use an alternate path to get somewhere.
Yeah, I didn't mind that because there were times what I was worried about was getting hit by one of the trucks
Yeah.
and then going down. And there were a couple instances where I was like, I could see the truck in front of me moving at me, but I was able to get out of the way in time.
Mm-hmm.
So it never hit me, and I always felt like I had enough time to get out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. I was worried about having like a down where I just felt like it was total BS. Like I just got
Yeah.
hit by the thing. That never happened, which is good. And I don't mind so much that certain areas get closed off because I think eventually I would just learn.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was the first time I was playing it, I didn't really know the area that well. So I'd be like, okay, now I got to find the other path. But once
Mm-hmm.
I know the different paths, then I think I would have it down.
Yeah. And the other interesting part too is it also cuts off the zombies. So it can be a benefit
Yeah.
at times where, oh, I'm about to die, and then they get cut off, and you're like, hey, that worked out. So it's,
Yeah, or you can even put your back now to an area.
yes, and now you have a camping area, and then maybe you just rotate between camping areas as the map rotates. Again,
So
there's something to it.
I honestly I think they did it fine. I don't really have any complaint. I
Mm-hmm.
think it works well thematically with the map. Like you have a rocking ship, so I guess they just didn't tie down the trucks.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna rock back and forth with the boat. I like that. It
Mm-hmm.
works thematically. It's not like suddenly there's just magic that appears, you know.
Yes, yes.
It works with the setting. I never felt like I downed because of it. Bullshit. I didn't go down by it, but like the threat was still there. I'm like, oh shit, the truck's coming. Let me move out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely made areas a bit more dynamic, but it never felt like I was being cheated. And I think once I learned the map, I could go, okay, that door's closed off. Let me just take the other way.
Yeah. Cool.
know?
Well, I'm happy to
So
hear that.
I don't have an issue with that.
I did, yeah.
I was gonna say like
Yeah,
the
go
only
ahead.
thing is that like the map is pretty tight.
Yes.
That's the only kind of problem with the boat map.
What other map would you equate to being this tight of a map to in all of Call of Duty Zombies? Any developer? Does any ring a bell? Because we've used that before. We feel like the corridors are really, really tight. Some places in Shang sort of hit me.
It's very Shang. It's also very Voyage, but Voyage is also on a boat.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very Voyage, very Shang. Tight's not always a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's actually okay in this circumstance if you the village map, which is fairly open,
Yes.
and then you had the boat, which is fairly tight,
Yep.
and then you have the third, which is open enough, but also feels a little bit like an arena
Yep.
because it's just a big circle with a center area.
Yeah.
So it's okay to give it its own characteristic that this is the tight map.
Yes. And I think
like
it gets a lot to the identity.
If they were all wide open, then I think that'd be a problem. Actually.
Yes, because then I guess it's the boringness of just like of the maps. I was discussing about transportation and how important transportation is in his map because it also impacts the flow. You literally have to think about like the geysers in Shangri-La, for example. It's a tight map, but also it adds verticality because they're saying, how do we want players to get around quickly, right? Okay, so we have geysers. Well, that'll allow them to get back up to this area or that area. A lot of time in Chaos, it's just stairs and portals that are just as good as like cutting a frame in a movie where it's just like, and now you're there. We had different ways to go around. I know teleporters are a staple in Zombies, but I think some of the most character and transportation that brings out the believability of maps, that these are lived-in maps, are maps like Gorod Krovi and Zet, where you have these pipe systems where you're going around, or you had the Dragons, which is a completely unique system to travel from place to place. These things really bring out whatever the identity of the map is. And when you just have, let's just go in a teleporter, it doesn't fit as well. Like I think the Chaos maps suffered from that. In the same way here, it doesn't quite, because you have this tight map, you have a wide open map, and then you have the happy middle ground. It gave each Tortured Path experience a unique experience.
Yeah, and I think it would have been a mistake to include an open area in this map. Because if you have the map set up such that it's all tight except for one little open room, then I think you're never going to leave that open room.
Right.
So I think you either go all in or you don't. So you either make the map pretty open, so that way you can walk around into a bunch of different open areas, or you go all tight and create that claustrophobic feel. But if you just do really tight areas and then one open area, you're going to stick to the open area.
Yeah. And that's like game theory, where you're going to play the optimal way. Whatever's the easiest way, which way is going to make you win, you're going to play the dominant strategy. And not giving players that initially or in any of the other maps I think plays to what it's going for. There's clearly a direction for the Tortured Path, even though it seems extremely limited, and like it feels like this would have been a pitch to the developers internally in a meeting, like, this is what we want to do, but we want to make this bigger. But they only gave them enough for, like, okay, the pitch is all you're getting. We can't afford to give you more. I feel like there is something here with the Tortured Path, but again, too small, too little budget, and too short time. The rounds are too short. Even though I know there's the survival and you get all the maps, and we don't have to endure the nonsense, because I think they're unlocked by default now after release. There's all that controversy where Cameron's like, oh, we'll release them, and then it didn't come out for like weeks or months afterwards.
Yeah, they were really slow on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so going map by map, what were your thoughts, at least on the village map?
The village map, I appreciated the lighting of it. I liked how it was outside. Aesthetically, it was probably the second most appealing map. I know there's only 3, but I certainly liked fighting in that setting. It made me feel like I was in World War II. I feel like I was during the European theater of war, fighting the zombies in there. It's cool to see the moishlers sprinting out of the hedges. I think there's a lot of atmospheric fun for that. The Easter egg I know on that, which you didn't experience, is annoying. I don't like it at all, and I think that's what really hurts the first map for me. But there's different areas to train, and there's a decent flow to the map, so it's extremely average, I would say, for the first thing. It's not something to be like, this is unplayable, screw this, but it's also not like, it's not memorable. It's not changing.
Yeah. Well, part of, I think, the lack of memorableness is the setting.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a village.
Yes.
There's not that much going on. It definitely feels World War II, which is maybe why it's a good introduction to the Tortured Path.
Yeah. It's easing us into the fantasy sci-fi.
It's a good place to start. And because you're outside and because it's set in World War II, you can incorporate things like the blimp into how it's going to work.
Yes.
So, like you can't put the blimp on, I think, the other 2 maps.
Yes.
And the blimp isn't on the other 2 maps, but I think it only works in that map. So, the setting is boring and unmemorable, but I think that's a little bit okay. It's wide open. I'm not really sure exactly what they had in mind with some of, like, the houses. Like, I felt like the houses were just kind of death traps.
Yeah, I think that was purposeful, because later on in the Easter egg, a zombie comes out of there and you got to escort him. So it's more trying to catch players in where they're at, especially when you're near the charging for the Pack-a-Punch. A lot of those feel like difficult areas on the map. The basement and the one near the river. Both those are death traps, where the final one, they sort of ease up on you and they're like, hey, you can just train in that wide open crater that was hit by artillery. Again, it looks like a World War II map. It definitely looks like somewhere you would fight. It's just so small, so not memorable as a standard village.
Yeah, and I think what they should have done is take advantage of the fact that it's so open by just throwing fucking everything at you.
Okay.
You know,
how would that go?
How would it go? It'd be a little
what do you mean
bit
by
of
everything?
Like that would be the one where you have like 2 Brenners and 5 Whistlings and some of like the pests on, like that should be the one, because you have a lot more open space to run around. That should be the one where the game is throwing as many things as possible at you, like everything it's got. We're gonna give you the blimp and 2 Brenners and 5 Whistlings and 20 zombies, you know.
Sure.
Like that's the one where you should feel the most overwhelmed, and don't do that on the more claustrophobic map, because you don't have as much space.
That's also an interesting idea to bring up, because you take it a step further in the lore of it. World War II zombies, they're now overtaking Europe. The whole intro is no one expected this. They're overrunning London. You're still on the continental map of the of Europe, and you should be experiencing the most of the zombies. The outbreak has now gotten to an unbelievable point, and we're retreating to try and find this Hail Mary mythical legend of a sword that's suddenly going to stop the zombies. So that's the boat sequence, going over to the boat and eventually going to beneath the ice. So I think that's a really interesting point you bring up. I think there's definitely a balance needed. I know when you say multiple Whistlings, I hear Greg FPS go, and it's like, okay.
I know people don't like a lot of Whistlings, but I think if there's a map that you're gonna throw a bunch of everything, do it on the open map.
Yes,
You know,
I see what you're saying, and I think,
and I
yeah.
know the community is gonna groan when they go, "Oh, 5 whistlings," but like for one round in this game, I think you won't hate it that much. You
Mhm.
hate 10 whistlings when it's round 40 and this is the 5th round in a row where there's 30 whistlings you've had to kill, you know? But if you're just doing it once, I don't think it's that big a deal.
Mhm. And newbies brought up in chat, and this is where I think the difference in people who enjoy uh, grinding comes in. Where I disagree. Ancient Evil and Dead of the Night flow really well. You always have something to do and progress, even in casual play. I don't think that's the case. Like we talked about, Dead of the Night, you got to remember 21 things just to get silver
I
bullets.
rail into Dead of the Night in our recording.
Oh, we
of it.
do. Oh, yeah, we did.
Dead
we
of the
did.
Night.
That
Dead
was
of the
the
Night.
do. Yeah.
Dead of the Night is so bad it makes me angry. I
Yeah.
get mad at Dead of the Night.
It
years
is
later.
not casual play whatsoever. It's not. It's not.
Dead of the Night is literally, I think, one of the worst zombies maps ever because of everything you need to do and progress, and you have to do them to play the map.
Yes.
You are going to have the worst time ever if you do not build the silver bullets, if you do not build the shield, if you do not make Alistair's Folly and all that shit.
Mhm.
If you don't, you can't enjoy the map. Whereas, like, if I'm playing other maps, I don't know what would be a good example where you have stuff to do but they're not optional. Like the Black Ops maps aren't a good example.
Well, BO2 then.
Black Ops BO2 buried. I can build all the various buildables, but I never need to.
Yeah.
You also don't feel ever disadvantaged because I don't have the trample steam.
Mob of the Dead, you don't need the shield.
I feel yeah, Mob of the Dead. If I don't build the shield, if I don't do all the little things that I get in like Afterlife, other than of course building Pack-a-Punch, and even then it's not necessary. Like you should have to do a little bit of something for Pack-a-Punch. Dead of the Night, I cannot do Dead of the Night unless I do all the other shit.
You got it.
And then I had to have then I had to keep pausing and look up guides because I forget where all the little parts are. Like I've done a count. I think there's like 50 something possible locations between all the parts you need to get yourself set up in Dead of the Night.
Well, okay, so let me go into it more. And this, again, there's not an attack on your favorite map. So understand, if you love this map...
Yes, it is. If your favorite map is Dead of the Night, this is an absolute attack.
This is John attacking you. But, like, understand, this is why there's a disconnect between what you think, your preferences and what our preferences. The Dead of the Night... Like I said, 21 for the bullets, right? Now we still have the shield. You have to have the shield. You got to know where to build the shield, and you need to know 3 different locations for each shield part. That's 9 more locations for that. When you're talking about Pack-a-Punch, you need to know all the tuning fork locations. You got to know all the clock locations to open all those up, and that's another 9 to 10. Alistair's Folly has 4 different spawns for each of the symbols you have to put into it. It's like 20. It just keeps going. Like 50 plus 20, and then every step you need to remember 20 things for Alistair's Folly to get the Mark 1 version of it. And you want the upgrades. If I want a better version of the ray gun back in the day, nostalgia blinders on, I completely acknowledge it, but I just Pack-a-Punch a ray gun once, and now I have the better version of the ray gun. Now, people who get bored as rounds go on, oh, well, I have this quest. I can go on these quests. It's round 30, it's round 40. I've upgraded Alistair's Folly. I unlocked everything as time goes on. That's where I think those players thrive, where there's like, I have so much stuff to do, where I see it as busy, tedious work that I can't memorize 80 locations to remember all the functionalities of the map. Before I even do the Easter egg.
I know this for a fact because I've read it, and I've read a lot of like reactions to zombies now versus zombies then, and a lot of people who are just casual fans of the game really do miss the fact that there's too much going on. Like a lot of like there is a real sentiment that zombies right now is too complicated, and that Treyarch kind of killed themselves by trying to innovate too much, by always doing something new.
Okay,
like there is a real value to a map like Kino that you just jump in and play.
Certainly.
I don't need a guide to play Kino.
Certainly. I mean, that's when I was talking to my buddy Ryan again last night. He talked about he didn't complete a single Easter egg. He wanted to complete all the Easter eggs in Black Ops 4 on launch, not a single one. He said, when I looked up a guide to how to do it, and I had to sit through 50 minutes of a guide before Glitch came around, it was ridiculous. It was like, I don't want to take a class to complete a zombie Easter egg. What's going on with this? Even Glitches, some of his guides, they're 15, 20 minutes, and he gives you nothing else besides exactly what you need to know. So you don't get the little optimizations necessarily every time as well that Milo will go into and tell you exactly the best strategy he found to do it, which is why it expands so much. It's like it takes longer to do the guide than to actually perform the Easter egg in certain speedrunning circumstances. So it's like, it's interesting. So, and big fan Joe Weeks, he loves BO4, and I appreciate him bringing up his opinions, and so I can try and see the other perspectives. But he argues, isn't Zet the same thing as Dead of the Night? Is Zet the same level of having to remember stuff as Dead of the Night? Is it the same tedious busy work?
Not really. I don't think so.
I don't either, because it's optional. You don't have to get the golden bucket. That's literally the busy work thing you can do later on. You don't have to plant seeds. You can just play normally, and Zet plays normally.
You do not need to plant seeds. And you can also just casually plant seeds. Like, you are going to pick up seeds.
Yeah.
And then you are going to walk over places where you can plant those seeds.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just might not ever think to water them.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna figure that out. You don't have to get the Skull of Non-Sapwe.
Yep.
You can play you can play to around 100 and never use never unlock the Skull of Non-Sapwe.
Certainly.
Now the only thing you have to do, and this is a little multi-staged, is power.
Yep, power and pack.
Power and pack, but it's not I think those are the two that I don't think are that big a deal.
Okay.
Because the power's not that hard.
Yeah, but what is it? I remember people hated power on launch for Zet. They thought it was way too much. It was
it's annoying. Yeah, I think it's too much.
Okay.
I think it's too much, but once I do them, I'm good.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
I think pack might be too hard for the casual because you got to go down and swim in the cave to get that last part.
Like this is not a defense of Zet, because I do think that Zet's Pack-a-Punch and its power are a little too involved.
Mm-hmm.
But Dead of the Night, I mean, it's a whole host of chores you got to do.
It's a different level of intensity.
The problem with the Dead of the Night is that I can survive. So let's just say this: if I play Zet and I turn on power, let's say at minimum I turn on power, which is a little tedious.
Yep.
But you could do it, and you could figure it out, and you can watch a 2-minute guide.
Yes. Yes.
Then I can buy Juggernog, and I can survive, and I can get weapons from the box.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like Dead of the Night, if I don't get those silver bullets, and if I don't get those silver bullets, there's no way I'm killing the werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't get the shield, there's no way the vampires aren't killing me. I can't survive.
Yes.
I can survive in Zet without building the Pack-a-Punch, but I can't survive in Zet without the silver bullets. I'm gonna be
in Dead of the Night. You can't survive in Dead of the Night with silver bullets.
I'm literally going to be putting entire guns into the werewolf before I kill that thing. It has so much health.
Yes. Joe brings up, in terms of upgrades, parts gathering, parts location, spread out, the skull, the shield, the gas mask, the KT4, the upgrade for the KT4, the power, Pack-a-Punch. And I think all that you say, right? But the fine line that isn't walked correctly in my terms of play, in my opinion, so fucking calm down, as the internet, man. You can't survive without a shield and BO4, and the bullets are you have to have the bullets in the game if you want to have a good time. You have to. And Zet,
otherwise,
not the same case. You don't have to have the KT. You really don't. You don't have to have that, especially if you have Gobblegums on, which you get by casually playing as well. That can change the whole game. You can literally just have a crate power or a wall power, and you don't have to worry about Pack-a-Punch, which you could probably make the same arguments in Dead of the Night. But it's not as an easy system, and you have to play way longer, and you have to grind more because it's not a one-to-one system. You get we talked about Plasma, how that ends up developing. So I think it is very interesting, that comparison, where that line of forcing the players to do these quests, to remember all these locations, just to jump into the game, is Dead of the Night is way worse offender, where I think Zet very much works on these will make you better. You will live longer if you do these, but it's not required to play the game. You can definitely get away with it.
And it's also, not reliant on random part locations.
Shield is. Well, Shield has 3
No.
locations, though. It's still the
No,
same
I'm
problem.
not talking. But the shield in Zed is not necessary. Like the shield in the only reason the shield is necessary in Dead is because of the vampires.
Okay. What about
'Cause those guys
Thrashers,
are-
though? Thrashers are a monster in Zed. I think that would be a devil's advocate.
They're not super hard though. You just shoot the blisters.
Okay.
You know, the big orange things. And you can run away from them. Whereas like the vampires, they were just small and they were faster than you. They were just a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't think you actually need the shield in Zet.
Okay.
So it's like you get some buckets, you fill up the power, but you're doing it pretty much the same way you do it every game.
Mm.
Then when you build the pack-a-punch, you got to get the various different parts, but you'll remember that each part is really designated to their specific room.
Yes.
So I go into the room with all the bodies hanging, and it's in a random body, but I know I just got to keep knifing them until it appears. And I know that the whatever it is when you go swimming, it's always going to be in that cave.
Okay.
You know, so I don't need to exactly remember the 3 locations because I can just swim through the cave and eventually find it.
Okay. Well, what about the areas then people would argue in Dead of the Night? Like, you just gotta know what's in the library. I'm playing devil's advocate, John. I'm agreeing. I agree with what you're saying, but because I want to give a fair voice, because I don't think it's just great, just a dog pile on difference. I appreciate Joe being willing. He said he's not mad in chat, which is nice on the internet, but just to flesh out a discussion that tries to seriously analyze these things.
Because it's like it's painfully obvious where parts are in Zet.
Okay.
You know?
Oh, they literally, yeah,
like,
and they are glowing. That's fair.
Yeah, like they're glowing.
And
whereas
cold.
like in Dead of the Night, they'll put they'll always be in one room, but it'll be in a relatively large room.
Mm-hmm.
Or there might be 7 locations. You know, like those vases. Those vases have like 7 or 8 locations across the entire map.
I don't even remember the vases.
You got it. Remember, you got to break the vases, and then they give you visions of where.
Oh shit! Yeah. There's 3 per room, so there's 9
there's
total.
3
oh
per
my
room,
god! How does it have so many things? Holy shit!
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh my god!
And it's gonna show me like some painting, and then I gotta remember where that
painting is.
You know, like it keeps building. Whereas I know that if I swim in that cave, there's only really one path, so I'm going to find it. Actually, isn't it always at the bottom of the cave?
No, there's 3 different places you can spawn in the cave.
Okay, but but the cave is straightforward enough that I know if I just swim in that cave, I'm going to stumble upon it.
100%.
And it's straightforward enough that I know if I knife everybody in that one room, I'm going to find the part in there.
The vases do glow, but it's not as obvious. I would argue. You have the little blue bubbles that come out. They do. But I've walked by them many times.
The vases glow, but just because they're glowing doesn't mean that it's like apparent. Because what makes it annoying is that there's 7 of them, and I have to go, and I'm not gonna know whether or not it's the proper vase and whether or not it's glowing until I actually go to that room. So if I'm just going in order, I could either check one room, or I could get 6 wrong in a row, and then it's finally in the 7th room. And who cares if it's glowing or not, because I don't know until I get there and through process of elimination.
Do they spawn in a specific order? It's not like all 3 at one time. So there's like 1 in one room, 3 locations.
It might be, yeah. It might be they're just all 3 glowing at once. It probably is. Okay.
Because we only said 5 minutes ago that the glowing in Zet is a difference, but is it because it blends in so much? I know, like the shield. I walk by it in the library all the time in Dead of the Night. I know I have that problem trying to track down the goddamn shield parts. Or like the thin rectangular one that's always like leaning against the wall.
Yeah.
I walk by that so often. It blends in so well with the maps.
They're really easy to miss. Okay, apparently there's 9 locations.
Okay.
You know, so, and I think they're just all glowing. You could do them in whatever order.
Okay.
But think about this. So the vase, you have to find all 3 vases from 9 possible locations.
Okay.
They're then all soul boxes.
True.
So now I got to fill up the soul boxes.
Sure.
And then that soul box is going to guide me to a challenge.
Yeah.
And then I got to go find where that challenge is.
Yep. Then do the challenge to get the tuning fork.
to get the fucking tuning forks.
Yeah.
And then I is it Pack-a-Punch? I don't even remember what I'm building at this point.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I was getting the Alistair's Folly or the Pack-a-Punch.
Pack-a-Punch. This is just for Pack-a-Punch.
Yeah. Whereas, like, with Zet, I just got to knife all the potty bags. And I just got to swim to the end of the cave. And I forget what the third one is. I think the third one is literally just survive in a room, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's power. It's power. You get one part of Pack-a-Punch through power. That's what's in the fan.
Yeah.
They literally help you. They give you the first one. So it's
like it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3 steps. Knife the body bags.
Yep.
Survive in a room.
Yep.
Swim in a cave. Dead of the night. Find a vase.
Yep.
In one of 9 possible locations.
Yep. Soul box.
Complete the soul box.
Yep.
Then go do the challenge.
Got to find where the challenge is first. Got to remember the different locations.
Gotta find the challenge. Do the challenge. Now do that 3 more times.
2 more times.
That's 12. That's 2 more times. That's 12 steps as opposed to 3 steps.
Yeah.
There's like
there's a nuance. There's a clear nuance to it.
It's egregious. Like how much more?
It's egregious.
How much more involved Dead of the Night is over Zet.
I'm
like,
attacked.
Zet is mildly complicated, but I lost track of what the hell I was doing in Dead of the Night halfway through explaining it. I wasn't sure if I was, and I think that's just a testimony to how involved this map is, where I wasn't sure if I was building Pack-a-Punch or the Wonder Weapon.
Yeah. No, this isn't derailing the stream. We literally brought up parallels to Dead of the Night when we were playing, because there is a lot to talk about in the parallels to these maps, and it's interesting discussion and basic functionalities of Call of Duty Zombies. How
Dead of the Night is bad. I want the man who designed that map fired.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm kidding.
He is, John. You got your wish. He's gone. Papa Blundell's gone. He's not coming back now.
I don't think Blundell did Dead.
You don't think so?
Well, you know how they like Jason's the lead.
Yes,
but then you have different people kind of take roles like sub leads.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You know what I'm
talking about
100%. Yes.
You remember this conversation. So not Jason, but the man he gave the go ahead to lead on the subgroup for Dead. Mm-hmm. That man needs to be fired.
Newbie Gaming brought up again, from my casual friend's perspective, they've been able to do Dead of the Night easily compared to SOE. That's a cherry pick if I ever heard one. Yeah, SOE is one of the most fucking complicated maps with the beasts. You can't open anything unless you really understand them. But then again, you go up to it, right? It's glowing fires all throughout. Eventually, you're going to be like, oh, I wonder what this is. You turn into that, and they literally glow to tell you where to go places. But I definitely think it's probably more complicated to the casual on SOE but not to Dead of the Night, though. Still not Dead of the Night. I can't.
It's not that it's actually it's less about the number of like steps and how obvious those steps are, and more about the randomness. Actually, yeah, I think it's the randomness that's the problem.
Yeah, where there's so many locations.
That the vases are in one of 9 locations, and then the painting could be in one of 4 locations, or then the part for this specific thing is in one of 3, and it just adds up to suddenly you're remembering like 50 different locations. Yeah. Whereas like with shadows, I always know where the rituals are. Yep. And I always know what I need to do, like where I need to do the specific things with the beasts. Like there's a lot involved in shadows.
Absolutely, and it's definitely difficult.
But
I definitely give them that.
It's predictable and exactly the same every time.
So now, does that for the counter argument?
But it becomes muscle memory. And
yes,
as soon as it becomes random, then it's a lot harder to turn into muscle memory.
Yes. Now that comes to the argument: does that hurt replayability? Is it better for replayability Dead of the Night because things aren't in the same location, and SOE is boring because you just do the same thing every time to set up? You have to do the exact same thing every damn game to set up SOE. Or
no.
Okay, why?
Because Chopper was just on here last week calling Shadows a masterpiece.
Okay.
No, but it's I've never heard somebody say, "Oh, you know what my favorite part of building the shield is? I never know where the parts are." Love that. Who the hell says that?
Yeah.
I've never heard somebody praise game design because of random locations. Whereas, like, we've had people on, we've talked about this numerous times. A lot of people really like shadows. We had Chopper on here last week praising shadows.
Sure.
Who the hell ever says, you know what I love about Shinonuma? Never knowing where the fucking perks are every time I open a door. Nobody says that.
Oh, all right. Smart guy who I know has different preferences, and he's also part of the 1% of 1% best players in zombies. He's up there. He says, isn't Dead of the Night muscle memory, though?
No, he says Dead of the Night is muscle memory. Oh.
Is. So he's saying it is. So going to 9 different locations for pots every time.
No, I would argue that everything is always muscle memory.
Okay.
Even the RNG. But it takes a lot longer for RNG-based elements to be committed to muscle memory.
Okay.
Because you're eventually going to get in the cycle of check spot 1, check spot 2, check spot 3 for just one step. Whereas, like, when it's not random, I always need to just check one spot. So the amount of locations I need to commit to muscle memory are smaller.
Smart guy just fell into Johnny J's trap card because he says everyone praises Origins, which is an RNG fest. Oh, I know the one guy that most certainly does not praise Origins. He's the guy in this. Yeah, you're like the most fucking overrated map of all time. Yeah. So I don't know there.
I don't even know if I consider Origins that RNG.
What about Origins is RNG?
Okay, so
the robots for the. Are we talking Easter egg or are we talking gameplay?
No,
now,
I'm not
right?
talking. I'm specifically not talking Easter egg.
So yeah, let's specifically focus on gameplay at the moment because that's what we're complaining about, or at least criticizing of Dead of the Night.
It's Origin. Here's kind of the thing about Origins. You know, I want to build the wind staff, so I got to get under the robot's feet.
Yeah.
Well, I could see the fucking robots coming from a mile away, so I know. You know, like, robot's coming, or robot's not far from me. Let me peek under its foot real fast. So it's random, and it's annoying, but I know what to do. You know?
But so then,
I don't need
what don't you know what to do in Dead of the Night?
Dead of the Night, I don't know where all the parts are, and I got to look them up every time. I always know where the robot feet are going to step.
Gotcha. Okay, that's a fair point, because in the game is telling you. You don't have to go outside game to figure out the parts if you don't know where they are. Even though you can make the argument, search for them. But what if you can't find them? What if you just can't find them in game? That absolutely happens.
I'm building the ice staff. Now I know it's going to be a random pile.
Yes.
But I also know that it's only going to happen when it's snowing.
Okay. So just search for when it's snowing.
I don't need to look up a guide for every pile location, because they're very plentiful and pretty easy to find. You're gonna accidentally walk over some. You know, it's not hard. The lightning staff, they're always in the same locations. You always see them glowing.
Okay.
What's the fourth one? The fire staff.
That one's pretty bullshit.
I forget the fire staff. Why
you gotta shoot? You gotta shoot. You need a guide for that one. Well, because you could figure out, but it's a cipher to figure out the dots and shoot the correct ones.
You see? Oh, I haven't even gotten to the upgrades yet.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. You shoot the plane, kill the Panzer.
Kill the Panzer. You're gonna kill the Panzer anyway. Shoot the plane.
You're gonna get that.
Shoot the plane.
See, that's like
that requires a little bit of thinking.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, what the fuck?
Well, you got to think. Oh, there's a glowing plane. And then think I'm gonna shoot it, which might not be apparent. But like, I'm not talking Easter eggs, because once you get to Easter eggs, all bets are off.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You guys are great, Johnny. I'm reading the one comment.
Yeah.
Johnny doesn't know Dead of the Night. You're right. I don't know Dead of the Night.
Yeah.
Because I never attempted to learn it.
Yeah.
And I've done Dead of the Night a number of times because I've tried it.
Yeah,
and I just got frustrated and never.
I'm not sure that's a good argument. Yeah, you're only proving the point.
Do you know why I don't know Dead of the Night? Because I decided I don't want to.
Yeah, and it's.
I played Origins a million times.
So when you guys see a picture of a portrait,
I played Shadows a million times.
You don't know to go find the portrait. That's not the argument, right there. See, that's not the argument.
The argument is I see the portrait, go find the portrait. but where is the portrait?
Yeah, and we go searching throughout the whole place, and then
And it's like, okay, yeah, go find the portrait. You'll find it eventually. Yeah,
maybe.
but maybe, but not only that, but there's like 5 portraits on the map, and maybe only 2 of them are actually related to any steps.
Mhm.
And then those portraits, it's like why? I've already had to find vases, and I've already had to find other shit.
And fill a soul box at this point. Now it's this
Yeah.
extra step to go find it.
It's like I'm being strung along. It's like, okay, you want me to find 3 vases, and now you want me to fill 3 soul boxes, and now you want me to go find a portrait, and then I'm gonna go find now I gotta go find a grandfather clock.
Is it? But I see the Dead of the Night fans though would say, but it keeps you going. You press 3 buttons in Derice, and you just have Pack-a-Punch open. This actually gives you a quest.
That's
to
great.
unlock.
I want that.
All right.
I want to just hit 3 buttons and have Pack-a-Punch.
Uh-huh.
I'm telling you, like people, like your casual fan,
Yeah,
does not like these elements. Your casual fan wants 3 buttons and then Pack-a-Punch.
I think this is around gameplay, right? I think there's a much different argument for Easter eggs, and that has its own nuance to it. But this is fascinating. I really like how we're getting into the nuance of it all because, like even in Origins, right?
I remember having a really hard time finding the portraits.
Well, that's just it. I've gone matches in games in BO4 where I just say I can't find it. And there's no way to slow the game down. Where I'm just like, I'm just not doing that because I literally just can't find it now. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't figure it out, and I don't know why. I've seen the same damn portrait 4 times in a row. And how many times do you look at the guy and you go, oh, of course it's right there.
Yeah.
It's obvious. How did I walk by that a million times? When I've been playing
I
BO4, I do that all the time.
I hate in zombies when I gotta have a laptop with me with Milo's tutorials open.
Ugh. I agree. And that's, again, not a great... Just play with me, you know? Play with somebody that knows it.
I don't want to play with you to play a map. I want to be able to play.
Yeah. It's a weird balance, right? When you have specialist weapons that allow you to jump into the game, but then that's one of the get out of jail free cards. Oh, so the game's not challenging anymore. Just like, well, what the hell do you want as fans, right? Well, you want to just jump in and play, but then you want endless rounds. You want to be entertained for the entirety of the... You got to have something to do for higher rounds. You complained for years about this, and then we gave you this with Black Ops 4. I'm playing Treyarch's point of view. We give you all this stuff to do, and now you don't want all this stuff to do. What the hell do you want? Do you want nothing to do, or do you want everything to do?
I think there's a myth that people want more.
Okay.
I think that's a myth.
Okay.
Because I feel like people were pretty satisfied back in Black Ops.
Okay.
When by round 20 you had everything done
and
you were just playing. I think people were pretty satisfied.
Okay.
You
think the hardcores weren't
actually
satisfied?
No, I don't think just answer what Smart Guy's saying. Casual fans also want to have Perkaholic on round 1. I don't think casual fans are getting Perkaholics. Or if they do, they're getting one of them, 2 of them. Your casual fan is going to get 1 Perkaholic, maybe 2 of them, and actually might not even use them.
Yeah.
Because of the psychology of, well, I have 1 left, I don't want to waste it, you know?
Mm-hmm. And furthermore,
actually...
they probably wouldn't even know about dashboarding either to keep a Perkaholic. But
Yeah,
I think he might be arguing the idea that maybe they just want it easy. A casual fan wants the game to be easy. And there are fans that want it to be challenging. And there is definitely something to that.
I don't think they want it easy, but they don't want it complex. And there's a difference between easy and complex. Because Dead of the Night is easy, but it's complex.
Interesting.
Whereas like Kino, if you're bad at zombies, you're probably also a casual player.
Mm-hmm.
So it won't be easy anyway. You know?
BT brings up, there needs to be a balance between difficulty and sizes in games. It's why more people forgive Origins and Shadows rather than Dead of the Night. Interesting idea. I think one of the things that I argue about with Origins, to get back to one of Smart's counterpoints earlier, is you have the robot coming, right? But fucking Jesus, it's on the opposite side of the map. RNG be damned. I'm going to sit here for 3 more freaking minutes to see this asshole robot walk by again so I can get my wind staff. There's not a good take the tank. Oh, great. I'll be there in 20 minutes. I think that's a map that really suffers at times. If you're at church and you got to get to bunker side, screw you.
You're not getting it.
You're not getting it. Now, does that add to the map? Is that back to punishing maps? Remember how Jason and Treyarch said that back in Jimmy Z era, the maps were actively like fighting against you. Shang was trying to hurt you. The maps were trying to get you. Is that theory of design, or is it just Origins having poor transportation? Because Transit had some of the worst transportation in all of Call of Duty Zombies.
You mean to tell me random teleporters was not fun?
Oh, yeah. Or running through the fog with constant screeching in your ears and raking across your HUD isn't a good idea. Or waiting on dumbass elevators or one-time use keys isn't a good way to get around a map. Yeah, I'm very strong about how bad the transportation was.
Those one-time use keys are the same reason why I don't think casual players use Perkaholic. Did you ever use the key?
Very rarely. I did use them, but to your point, very rarely. Very rarely.
Because you only had one of them.
Yeah, and then you'd have to go all the way back around. Or no, you have to jump. You had to build a flipper and jump back. Yeah. It wasn't worth it. Whereas,
as like a casual player, might just accidentally get one or two Perkaholics just by them playing and then flipping the machine.
Yeah, and I don't like the idea of us constantly saying casual players. I feel like we should qualify it because it almost feels like a straw man to me the more we say it. Like the casual player. Well, what the fuck do we know about being casual players? You more than me, though. To be fair, I am not a casual player. No,
what I know about casual players is from what I've just seen and read.
Mm-hmm. You do have your friends at college, which helps a lot.
Not yet. Like, you know, I've played with a lot of casual people, and also like I've read like go on Reddit, go to forums that aren't COD Zombies, because the people in r/COD Zombies are big Zombies fans anyway.
Yeah.
Go find context in which people are talking about zombies outside the zombies community.
Yep.
And you will see a lot of sentiments, and I've seen this a lot on Reddit, of people talking about how great it was in Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, how they don't like Black Ops 3 and they don't like Black Ops 4 because there's too much. They don't know how to do stuff.
That's fair. That's a very fair point. Smart, continuing the conversation, because I want to make sure to give him a voice since we've taken his and given it a megaphone here on the show. Imagine digging up all the dig sites not on a snow round as well, so when it snows, I can't get the piece. Yeah, definitely punishes.
Yeah, but you might not know you're doing that, so you just might think you're getting bad luck.
Oh shit! What do you agree with?
Actually,
if it's not a matter if it's what they want. Okay. That's when I was saying the thing about when I was Treyarch's point of view. Gotcha. Okay.
For the dig sites, that's definitely happened. And when the map was new, before I realized that you had to wait till snowing, I definitely had that issue where I was popping up dig sites and getting nothing. And be like, geez, what the heck's going on here? But then eventually it's going to snow again, and you'll figure it out.
And you might not know all the dig sites too, so you might accidentally, just out of pure against your own stupidity, the game's gonna end up giving you one.
The reason why I think this is less of an issue is that you can actually completely accidentally build the ice staff.
Yeah, that's fair. You're not accidentally opening.
You will never accidentally build Alistair's Folly.
Yeah, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. Well, no. Alistair's Folly, yes. Pack-a-Punch. Okay. Because you can just keep trying. You might go up and click one button and hit it, and that's the code. And you might be like, "Oh, I got this. Yeah, that's amazing."
You might though accidentally just dig your way to the ice staff.
Yeah, that's
at least the ice staff parts.
That's definitely happened. That definitely happened on release. Interesting.
Yeah. So as many times as you dig in the rain and get nothing, there's just as many times as you're just casually digging in the snow and get everything.
By the way, Online 420X, good to see you. Long time no see. I used to be a map maker. I don't know if you still do it or not, but it's good to see you in here. It's an interesting conversation, and there is that line. And I if you do take that perspective of people were content when it was simpler, and casuals liked it when it was simpler, I only worry is that too much painted with rose tinted glasses. Is that
there's definitely nostalgia at work.
And Ricky, that isn't true. Not true. A dig site will spawn for the snow. That's not true. If you dig everything up the round before, if you dig everything up a couple rounds before, they will spawn during snow rounds. Yeah. But it all depends on which round you're digging.
I just think with the snow, for every time you've dug in the rain, not knowing what you're doing, you also probably dug in the snow, not knowing what you're doing.
No casual will get the power on in transit. That's just so untrue, though. At college, I had friends of mine that adored transit. They said it was their favorite map, and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I'm like, it's the worst map ever. They're like, dude, the bus? Party on the bus! I'm like, who is this? What? This
Also-
was so different from my experience. And
Also-
Pack-a-Punch, I agree. Power,
They will.
I don't
Here's
agree.
the thing: casual fans will and are willing to go and look up guides and look up tutorials,
Okay.
but they only need to watch those tutorial once, and then they know it. It's like riding a bike, you know.
Okay. Oh yeah, just
I
go
figure
to the
out-
third stop, turn on power.
Yeah.
Versus
like I'm gonna
nine
watch how to
locations.
turn on the power. Now every time I know the power site is how I do, and I just grab 3 parts and throw them on there, you know. And 3 parts are relatively in the same spot. They're in the same building.
Mhm.
Um,
Now I want to test this. If you don't have an ice staff part, one dig site will always spawn in during a snow round. I don't know, but that would be crazy if that's true. I think that needs to be tested. If that doesn't sound right
yeah,
to
but
me. Sorry. But
so you'll figure it out, or you'll look up a guide.
oh, he meant
But
Pack a
then
Punch. Yeah,
you'll always know it.
I can't get Pack a Punch open. God damn it.
Pack a Punch.
That map.
Pack a Punch on transit.
Fucking bullshit.
One, it's incredibly frustrating because like the amount of times I've sat down a trampoline and seen the door shut.
Wind turbine. You said
Yeah, I've sat down a turbine and seeing the door shut is like frustrating.
Mhm.
But that's also another one of those. You'll watch a tutorial once and you'll never forget it.
Yeah.
You'll know to place it there and then go to the town and blow up the bank door and you're in. You like, whereas like I think I might need, until I've done it like 5 or 6 times, I might need a guide for Dead of the Night up every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. Smart Guy won't, because Smart Guy's done it a bunch, and Smart Guy's also like a zombies extraordinaire.
He is. He absolutely is. I mean, the way he has how many world records on Easter egg speedruns? He gets muscle memory. He has a type of play style that goes to high rounds. He doesn't have to buy plasma because the dude earned bazillions of it.
It's a matter of how easy that muscle memory, how much you actually have to work to put that muscle memory in place.
Mm-hmm. And that might be more fun for players, though. It might be more fun to work that muscle, that muscle memory, to work that part of their brain that says, I got to remember all the locations. I got to go through these things every time. And that might be rewarding for the grind they enjoy going on. And that's, again, I think that's why it resonates with people who like Black Ops 4 Zombies. I think that's very much the play style they enjoy, is that type of loop versus the loop we had. And I think that's another part of the layer of the issue, is that we come from a different play style. So it's going to clash. We knew a different way. We experienced something different, and we're like, they ain't the same. And I don't like it. And that's going to clash with people that are just coming in or that have that different preference that were like, I didn't like zombies back in the day, but this is great.
Yeah.
It's a rough conversation. All right. Torture Path, the boat. We didn't talk about what we thought about the boat.
We've said a lot about the boat.
What's your final thoughts on the boat? And then we get to Beneath the Ice.
I like the boat. It's a tight map. I think it got a little too hectic at the end.
Yep.
Because we died.
But we got
maybe if we did it a second time and remembered that we had Jack in the Boxes, that actually wouldn't be a bad idea. If the game said to itself, well, we know we're putting you in a tight area, so we're going to be a lot more liberal with Jack in the Boxes. That's a good answer to that. But I don't know if that was the case. That's where we got Jack. That's the only map that we got Jack in the Boxes. That might actually exactly be what was going on.
I did get Jack in the Boxes on Beneath the Ice.
Oh, I didn't.
Because remember, I go, oh God, we had Jack in the Boxes because it gave me one. That's why I remembered.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that would have been a good map to be pretty liberal with the Jack in the Boxes.
I agree though.
The last one,
Beneath the Ice.
Total, just like reuse of the Frozen Dawn or sneak peek of the Frozen Dawn.
Yes, that's a great way of putting it. It is the sneak peek to the finale.
Yeah. Which isn't actually a bad idea. It's a little teaser we get there. It's that one to me felt the most arena like, because it was just a circle with an arena in the middle.
I'm reading Smart Guys. I'm not sure how much, because he did visit them. This is helpful. I'm not sure how much of the Torture Path you all talked about before I missed, but when I visited them during that, I remember them telling me that during DLC maps, they design around those who still play more. So they play with ideas for more hardcore players. Oh, I do remember this. That was constantly talked about on streams, because the player base goes down over time for zombie DLC maps. So they were specifically tailoring it towards certain specific play styles. That's thank you for sharing that perspective, Smart Guy. That's very helpful. Yeah. It's good to know when trying to contextualize this retrospective of the Tortured Path along with everything else we've talked about today.
But yeah, they all do have a different play style. That's for sure.
I agree. I like this when you getting the sword is really dope on the Frozen Dawn map. It is beneath the ice. I really like getting the sword. We didn't get to do that in our game, but it's fun.
I didn't like the boss on that one.
I feel like he was programmed differently. Can anybody in chat have you played Beneath the Ice recently? He felt, or I just might be remembering differently, but he felt like he was so different. He just constantly rushed you and was beating down. Where I remember in the past, I feel like there was so much shooting. He was up top and you were shooting him up top. And then when he's on the ground, I thought Lucky Crits did so much more damage to him. But he's such a bullet sponge. It just seemed off to me.
I was starting to feel frustrated when I was putting a lot of damage into him. Like I got him down to half health. And then I was actually really low on ammo.
Yeah.
And he re-healed himself. And then he healed himself. And I was just like, well, fuck. If he's gonna keep healing himself and I'm already low on ammo, we're just not gonna do this.
Yep.
Like there's no way.
Yep, because there's a timer. The nice challenge timer is ticking in the corner for you to complete this round with the boss. If you don't do it in 4 minutes or 5 minutes, you're done.
Yeah, well, I hate boss timers. COD Mobile did that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it did.
There were a couple games I played where we just weren't killing the boss fast enough, and we knew we weren't gonna kill him in time. And it's such a hopeless feeling.
Nope, that's the boss. All right, yeah, that's the boss.
Like I should never feel completely hopeless in a boss fight.
I do remember shooting his healers, right? That's immediately what I remember was shooting the healers. But apparently he just does run around and body slam you. I just don't remember taking that damage. I must have been always the guy when playing the Tortured Path he wasn't going after. Because it just seems so different. I don't even remember seeing the guy when I was playing in the past. And actually seeing his face as he beats the life out of me, that was different. Yeah, let me jump to the gameplay of that.
I just think that I should never halfway through a boss fight feel like no matter what I do, I won't be able to win. Like there's just not enough time in the timer. I can feel in a boss fight that, wow, this guy's really strong and there's no way I survive. Like he's going to kill me. Because then maybe eventually I'll get better or I'll learn the tricks to survive. But if I'm out there with like 5 minutes left on the timer, but he's got a good like 10 minutes left of health I need to clear out, then I'm just like, what am I doing?
Yeah, I'm just spinning the wheels.
Yeah, so that's a little annoying. So I wasn't a huge fan of that. I did like the crossbow. I was having fun being a Hawkeye.
Dude, I like seeing the crossbow. I think it was extremely engaging. I think the weapon selection in World War II Zombies has a lot of merit to it. I want to play more before I give a definitive discussion about it, but I'm going to start playing a lot more World War II Zombies on streams, revisiting it, and really give a good look at what their weapon selection was, because they added, I believe, you guys can correct me in chat, but I heard the argument early on that Black Ops 4, about 6 months in, released less weapons during that season than at the exact same time World War II did during their after season. So like from October 14th, I don't remember the day it came out, October 14th when Black Ops 4 came out, and at that day forward, World War II was already out for a year and a half. World War II was still releasing weapons into the World War II cycle. And I think that is something really amazing to see that still went into the zombie mode. And I felt the growth. I felt nostalgia for World War II Zombies of stuff I wanted to play. I was like, I actually want to get into playing World War II Zombies when I was playing with John. I thought that's insane.
It's game-changing.
Game-changing. All right, topic time.
Topic time. Silver the Hedgehog says, have you guys tried out Red Dead 2 or seen videos of it? What'd you think?
I sat down with my dad, and my dad, we literally bought the game for my dad. He's like, I want the cowboy game. And we're like, you don't play video games. He's like, give me the cowboy game.
I want to be a cowboy.
Yep. So we sat down the other day playing it on our television, and I recorded it just for me. I'll never post any of it, but we're sitting there and seeing my dad try and figure out a controller. The analog sticks are very difficult. He died immediately in the opening of it, so then he gave it over to me, and I did like one headshot immediately with the character in like the very opening tutorial mode, and he just starts cheering and yelling. He's like, oh man, I can't wait, I gotta practice like you. I want to be a cowboy like this every day. I think the game's, if it can even hit my dad, I mean, the game looks amazing. I didn't play through it all still. I need to. I know it's a great game, great reviews and all that, but I never got around to playing through Red Dead Redemption 2. But it looks, from the little I have played of it and the little I have seen of it, looks like a great game.
I've seen my roommate play it. That's my experience with it.
Three rifles. Wait. 3 rifles, 4 SMGs, 2 LMGs, 2 snipers have been added since Black Ops 4. Wow, that's a lot.
Some go back in time. Like some games never got new weapons, like Black Ops.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Nathan G says, "What features or mechanics of Modern Warfare would you like to see in COD?" They're back in COD this year. Does Modern Warfare have features I want back? I don't think so.
I don't know.
Opening and closing doors in multiplayer.
That is fun. I do like that. I do like the door closing. I do like that. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played enough Modern Warfare. I didn't fall in love with Modern Warfare, so.
Caboose 501 says, "What are you looking forward to when the world gets back to normal?" Sports.
Yeah, definitely sports. I just want to just be able to go out again. I miss being able just to go out to eat, even though I can't eat anyway. But I would go and order plain chicken somewhere and just be around people, or go to a bar and just sit there with my friends and catch up. I really miss that. I really miss hanging out with my friends. Yeah, it's not the same over Discord.
Caboose also asks, "Are there any plot points you wish were explored in more zombies games?"
Fucking tired of zombie plots. I don't give a shit anymore. I don't know. It's like I'm jaded at this point. There was plenty of things they did. They answered a bunch of questions we never asked, which was great in Black Ops 4. And then there's just a bunch of things like why set up Gersh and Peter and all that stuff and then do nothing and end the series. It's just like mind numbing to me. To introduce Peter and Gersh and Groff back into this and just do nothing with them. It's like,
I feel like there were so many loose plot points and so many hanging threads that every time they answered one, it felt like you were answering a question we didn't ask.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, and then starting a whole new...
It was just so...
thread.
There were just so many that, like, you answered one, but it's like, okay, well, what about these other 10? You know? So I don't think you could actually... meaningfully go through all the loose threads and answer them.
But my buddy Hunter says Reed doesn't want the quarantine to end because we play D&D easily. Very true. And, fun point by Smart Guy, it starts to get into killing floor territory. Imagine how that would change zombies if you can open and close doors. Now you're building your maps open for certain camping strategies and stuff like that. That's classic COD, but then I wonder, are we now going more killing floor route where you then try and close, I forget what is it called when they use a blowtorch to seal the door. I guess sealing the door is what it is.
Welding it shut.
Welding it shut. That's it. Definitely. You could weld the door shut in Killing Floor 1 and 2. Maybe that is a gameplay thing. I think that is a big fundamental change if you can open and close doors on zombies.
Joe E. or Mr. Burger says, "Hello, gentlemen. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Heard last week you guys talking about the BioShock series. I want to play Infinite.
Oh yeah, baby.
After that particular one being brought up constantly in Zombros in various episodes, but I figure I need to play the first 2 beforehand. Long story short, not particularly enjoying the first one, about 5 to 7 hours in. How important are the first 2 to understanding Infinite?" The answer is not at all.
No.
I've never played the first 2. I've only played Infinite.
I would say play through the first one all the way. It'll get better.
And if he doesn't enjoy the first, will he enjoy Infinite?
Yes. Yeah, Infinite's like more action oriented. It's like the Resident Evil 3 where people are like, RE5 and 6 are too much shooting, and it's like, yep, well, they're no longer survival horrors, they're action horrors. So there you go. So he might, if he hates the playstyle of the original, it improves a lot by Infinite. There's plenty, like the pipe system and the hacking system is utter garbage in BioShock 1. There's tons of flaws in BioShock 1, but it's the narrative is what really gets people turned on about it. And I think you might enjoy it. Then again, you might hate it even more. But if you play through the DLCs of Infinite, it only matters with 1. You'll get a lot more out of 1 if you play through the DLCs of Infinite. You get a lot more out of the DLCs of Infinite if you play through 1. You don't even have to touch 2. I love 2. I adore 2. I started playing Bioshock on 2, so I think it has the Call of Duty effect. Whatever your first COD is, you have a instant nostalgia and love for it because it's your first time getting the drug of the system.
Victor Disaster says, "Hey John Reed, I hope that all is well with the both of you two. Is in the next Treyarch installment, what kind of improvements do you want to see in the Easter egg? How do they make them more challenging and make them less tedious? Also, more importantly, how do they handle the staleness of one player sitting in the back seat needing to hold a zombie while everyone does the steps? How do you involve everyone in the process?"
I have quick thoughts off my mind there. Logic based. It has to be logic based. It's how many times does a step feel a lot better when it's rooted in logic? Bring back crawlers, a way to slow down the game. The reason a player loses out on participating in the quest is some asshole has to train a zombie around. That's not fun for anybody. Nobody wants to be the jerk sitting in a corner doing nothing over and over again while everybody else screws up doing the Easter egg when they could be contributing. So get the players back in some way to slow the game down during these Easter egg steps. Follow logical Easter egg steps. You're not trying to see how long it takes us to unlock it, but how good a journey you can make the Easter egg as we unlock it. Ancient Evil is a great example of the steps felt logical up to the ballista, right? Everything always had this little bit of, oh yeah, if I do this, it makes sense to this. Shangri-La, you had the characters talking and giving hints to what the next step is, actually being active participants. You, the player, was just as much an active participant in the logical puzzle as the characters in game. That is what's much better than in Revelations. Fucking reels are popping out of buttholes inside the Apothecon. Black holes are shooting out reels after sucking in a zombie. Bones are appearing out of stones. And the characters are mute during all this. No one's like, where did that come from? They're just like, absolutely, we're doing it. We're fighting the Shadow Man. None of it makes any fucking sense in Revelations. I will hammer home. That's where logic really starts to be like a fucking Hail Mary. Who cares? Just you did things and you couldn't solve the Easter egg fast enough. Ha 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 ha. It was fun watching you guys stream it for a week and a half.
I'd agree.
And there's obviously a limit. Chemistry is logic based. Black Diamond said, and that's Attack of the Radioactive Thing. That's where you get into tedious. When it goes too far, it's like, okay, kids, bring out your mathematic tables and write an algorithm to solve the Easter egg. It's like, keep it in game. That's the last caveat. Keep it. Can I figure it out? Like in Buried, you could manually just figure out the ciphers when on the blacksmith shop because you could just count the letters and be like, okay, I need to punch these 3 signs. I didn't need to know how to actually crack the code there. Keep it in game. Keep as much of the logic rooted in game so I don't have to watch a 50-minute tutorial, so I don't have to have a Go Ride Crovey pipe solver, so I don't have to go to chronorium.com.
I would agree.
That's my suggestion.
Captain Murphy says, quick question, are the Origin staff gramophone records compositions or existing songs? Original compositions or existing songs?
I thought they were existing songs.
I'm not sure. It says also, fun fact, the transit loading screen music was influenced by the song Sleepwalk by Santo and Johnny.
I believe everything. Everything in Zombies is influenced by something else, some sort of media. By far, every time you go there, every time we have had the privilege of going to Treyarch, the developers tell you their inspirations and what they're going for from this movie, this game, this book, this novel, all sorts of imagery. This artwork, for God's sakes, influences how the games are made. So absolutely. Yeah, of course I believe that.
Magna Collider 15 says, I can see John like in A Few Good Men with Jason on the stand for Dead of the Night. Did you order the code red, Blundell? Did you? And he says, I don't know about most of the community and how you feel, but the thing of Black Ops 4 that frustrates me is mostly doing Easter egg solo, and why I feel it's much harder than in any game is that zombies are just too fast, too strong by the late 20s, and I feel that hurts the overall fun, quality, or motivation. At least to do those Easter eggs solo, you find yourself swarmed and overwhelmed much earlier on and often. I hope they go back to Easter eggs more like a Black Ops 3 that were less that way. I would agree.
Oh, wholeheartedly. I just ran 9 the other day. You can see what a shitstorm the 9 Easter egg I ran. John, how long has it been since this fucking game released? 2018, right?
Yeah.
I'm the first person whenever we are in launch. Okay, yeah, I am. I fucking am. All right, I'm sticking to this. I always when we do an Easter egg at launch, I go, it's not glitched. Because I know when I'm in my parties, people go, oh, it's glitched. The game glitched out. I so rarely experience glitches in Easter eggs, minus Die Rice. And that's one of the reasons why I hate Die Rice so much. And that's why we butt heads on it. I never experience glitches to the level most people do. And when we're doing something wrong in Easter egg, I don't know how many times people are like, it's glitch, it's glitch, it's glitch. It's like, you're doing it out of order. No, you're not doing the steps correctly. You don't understand the step yet. It's been out for 8 hours. It can't be glitched. The raw step fucking glitched on me. And this is a glitch that has been there since day one. And it's such an aggravating... I need to vent on the show about this. It's such an aggravating glitch because Catalyst zombies are hitting you all the time. And I completely feel that with solo players, it's just like, screw you. Black Ops 4 says screw you to solo players trying to do Easter eggs. If you have anything you need to do for a second to focus, the game's like, fuck you. All right? No. We're throwing... And the zombies are so fast when it comes to it. There's definitely been sprinters before, but there were opportunities to slow the game down. Always, the catalysts are overwhelming. The chaotic zombies are overwhelming. I'm during the raw step where I have to kill the correct order of catalyst zombies, right? I kill 2 of them, and I see a gas zombie running at me. He's going to explode at me. He's going to ruin it. I don't want that to happen. I get caught in a corner. I feel screwed. A nuke drops. Power-ups are still active during this. Dope. I hit the nuke. My dying wish is going off. It kills everything. Zombies spawn in. I'm not seeing any catalysts. 5 minutes go by. Reed's denying it. I'm like, there's no fucking way this game glitched. The game doesn't glitch. 10 minutes later. Still no catalyst zombies. I'm running out of all my ammo on everything. And I'm in the denial phase and going through the 5 stages of grief. 15 minutes in. I'm like, holy shit! Because I'm now stuck in raw as well, because during that step, you can't leave the raw tower. So I have barriers up I can't leave. I'm stuck with 2 symbols and no catalyst spawn. It's just like infuriating to be like, at no point in the game's code do they ever stop spawning. Ever. Catalyst zombies. I can't even fail it to restart. But if I kill them all with a nuke during the raw step, then they have one-time lives, one-time spawn rates into the map, and they won't respawn in because they don't want more than one spawning in during the step. I get it, but it's like, holy shit, is this such a punch in the dick this far into the Easter egg? What do you... And it's unlimited spawning zombies. The rounds won't even change. It was just like, how is this still a glitch? I'm dying. And that, again, leading up to that, I am agitated so much on the solo steps of the 9 Easter egg, just having zombies hitting me, just, hey. It's like, no, fuck, please, I just want to do something. I just want to look for a skull. And I can't look for the skull inside Pack-a-Punch because they are sprinting at me at round 9 as fast as possible, just below super sprinters. And one last thing, John, I got the Death of Orion early out of the box, right? And then I went down with Mule Kick, so I lost it. So I said, I'll finish the quest. I was halfway through the quest to give you a free Death of Orion. I think it's a great thing that they had the Death of Orion and the Kraken, right? So you can just have a quest, you can get the gun without having RNG impact the Easter egg. Solid idea. I poison the box. I open the box. I do the whole Easter egg correctly. They give me the swordfish. I'm like, oh, I was unaware that if you get it naturally out of the box, that quest doesn't fucking matter. It just doesn't work. It's like, why? So yeah, I might try 9 again sometime, and just if I ever want to step on glass. What else is? What's the next step?
I would let yourself calm down before that. To actually answer the question.
Yeah, go for that.
Absolutely, in the sense of, like, especially when you're doing an Easter egg or you're doing something that you have to follow steps because you don't know them.
Yeah.
I.e. in Dead of the Night.
Yep.
The rounds seem to go by much faster because you're not being efficient. You're doing like one step around. Mm-hmm. And then when you throw in soul boxes where you have to then, like, if you do a couple steps and then you run into a soul box, but then you have to start the next round. Mm-hmm. You know, like, that absolutely. Sometimes, like, when you're just following one of those guides and you don't really know what the upcoming steps are, you can easily find yourself launched into like the 20s by the time you have it like set. And then some steps where they're requiring you to defend areas you don't want to defend late in the game.
And you also have to you have to wait 2 to 3 rounds for shit to cool off or be made.
Mm-hmm.
It's round fucking 30 by the time you're at Raw.
Yeah.
So keep going.
So that was topic time.
Okay. Streamlabs donations. We had a very, very generous. I think people were like the Dead of the Night hot topic. Excuse me. Mr. Drown 73. Every week. It's so good to see you, Mr. Drown. Pardon me. God, shut up, Reed. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Hope all is well. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a wonderful day. You too, Mr. Drown, and to everybody watching who stuck through this podcast so far, thank you so much. Vegetable donates. He says, hey, fellas, hope you're doing well. Long time no see to Vegetable. He used to be an active donator on Zombro episodes as well. It's great to see you again, and I hope you're doing well. Akimbo Middle Fingers donates $2. Reed, you still watch baseball? Yeah, absolutely. I very much. I fell out with the Yankees for a while because the Yankees were really crap, but I went back and watched a lot of the really interesting baseball that happened between 2013 and 2016. I was really into college, and I fell out of love with baseball for a while, but then I got back into it again. And last year was very much into it. The season where the Yankees almost went to the World Series when they shouldn't have, when there was a bunch of rookies, adored that. One of my favorite memories was calling my dad like I'd be watching it at the bar and I'd be calling my dad and we'd be texting and giving updates, and something crazy would happen. Like they'd hit a walk-off home run, or we'd be going back and forth. Awesome memories. And I've been keeping up with the season. It's interesting. Like John, you talked about sports. They're talking about starting in July and playing in empty stadiums or the Arizona League. It's going to be so strange to see this like shortened season. Is it going to be like a 60-game season? Are we still going to play a World Series? Are we going to play in Christmas? A lot of really interesting things are going to happen in sports that sort of make it fun to think about. It's almost like a Mario baseball or like a Mario game, which like they're playing in the wrong stadiums and the rules seem weird and like this isn't right. It's all you changed everything. I think there could be a lot of fun for sports coming up.
I think baseball fans and baseball purists would hate me if I said that baseball could probably actually gain a lot if they just did like an 80-game season.
I think owners would hate you because they make so much money. That's why they have so many games. It's just a money thing. But I feel you. I feel you.
Like, do you gotta play 160 games?
Fuck
I
no.
don't think so.
But you know how many millions in revenue they get from doubling that? It's stupid. It's stupid. But it would be so much like that's why the NFL is so good. Every game matters. Every freaking game matters. Baseball's like, fucking tune in like September maybe.
You can very, very casually watch baseball and follow baseball. You don't have to watch. Yeah. You can follow and not watch the games.
Completely. Baseball has a long way to go to improve. It's been rough.
There's interesting changes coming. Like to talk about playing the NBA in the summer, which a lot of people have been pushing for NBA to be a summer thing anyway.
Cool.
For a long time because it would basically own the summer. Basically, you run the NBA right up until you start at Christmas
and up to the NFL preseason.
Starting in September, you let the NFL own the fall, and the NBA would own the summer because it is a completely different demographic than baseball anyway.
Yeah. Oh God, and NBA has become second most popular sport in America. Yeah. Soccer third in America, and NFL I'm pretty sure is one. Baseball used to be a pastime.
I wouldn't call soccer third. No,
you think? I'm telling you, baseball really has hit the fan with ratings. It is not done well.
Baseball
it's all old men. The demographics all 50-year-old white men.
Baseball is a really old sport. Soccer performs best in young demographics, but soccer's not there yet. It's also very disjointed.
Okay,
because you have like Premier League fans.
Yeah.
And then you have like a lot of people who are fans of like Liga MX you just have a lot of Mexican Americans who are fans of Liga MX because that's the Mexican league.
Gotcha.
Then you have like MLS fans like myself. It's very disjointed. Whereas like if you're a basketball fan, you're an NBA fan.
And I'll say every NFL game matters in comparison to how games matter in MLB baseball. Yes, there's teams that suck, and they're 3-8, they're already out of it. So there's something to be said about baseball allows teams to get back into it. But let me tell you, it's
to newbies saying NBA would be an issue in the summer because of Olympics. Not really, because Olympic basketball doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah, and half the time they don't even do the Olympic team, and they got rid of basketball for a while too.
The teams don't even the best players don't even go play in the Olympics.
Yeah, And yes, yeah, we all know football, soccer is the most watched sport worldwide. That is yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, more donations. We could talk sports all day, I guarantee it. Ricky Hall donate. You guys are great. Johnny just doesn't know Dead of the Night, and then he said hard. Had Dead of the Night at launch, everyone would know it. Had Dead of the Night been at launch, everyone would know it. Oof.
Disagree.
Yeah. Obviously, you're a fan of Dead of the Night. There's nothing wrong with that. There really is nothing wrong with that. We're just bringing up criticisms of the game mode. Got that. Lord Corporal! You guys deserve more than this. Well, you're fine. Was there a COD Zombies you missed out on completely due to circumstances? Sadly for me, it was the height of BO4 during my hardest year at university. No, I've always prioritized it only because there was financial incentive for it in me, and I cared a lot about the storyline and the game modes. I believe I've played every single Zombies map. I've completed almost every single Easter egg, and I've completed almost every single boss fight. I haven't beat Mephistopheles. And Easter egg wise, I didn't do Extinction. I haven't done those. I haven't completed all the Extinction maps.
I haven't done a lot of things, but I've got Extinction on you.
Yes, you
So
do.
Suck it.
Yeah. I feel like you've missed stuff.
I
Tortured Path.
Yeah, I haven't played Tortured Path, and I still haven't played Shaolin.
You're not missing anything. Those are great maps to skip. I don't know. I don't believe there's a single launch I didn't really get to play too much. Mob of the Dead was actually one of the launches. I was so much with youth baseball back in the day, 16 and under or whatever. I didn't get to play a lot of Mob of the Dead.
I played a lot of Mob.
Yeah, not me. Isaac donates. He says, I wanted to say that I love BO4 and start it in World of War. For me personally, I still love older maps a lot, but over time I wanted more to do while I played zombies, so having a choice of doing a lot or nothing in maps is nice to have. Okay. It's a fair opinion. Lord Corporal, again, I meant BO3 is my last. I meant BO3 in my last donation. Also, are you guys... Oh, he missed BO3. Are you guys at the point of self-quarantine where you realize, oh my god, I need a haircut? I just YOLO'd and did it myself. I'm getting there.
My hair is getting very long. Hence the hats.
I hate it when it's on the sides and I have such bad cowlicks. Oh, yeah, John. Oh, man. I feel you.
Got some long... How do I make myself bigger so I can even see what it looks like?
Yep.
They changed it now.
I've played smart. I've played them. I've never beaten them.
Yeah, my hair's getting very long.
Yeah, I'm actually was looking at my dog and I'm worried because the groomers are shut down, and I normally get I get her groomed once a month, and I don't. She's very sensitive about her paws, and they do a great job of being able to cut the nails, and I'm actually worried about that. I really don't want to cut her nails.
You're muted, Reed.
On stream?
Nope, there we go. I unmuted you. I accidentally muted you. There we go.
All right. Yeah. I did the first Extinction map, to be fair, too, but I never beat any of the other bosses in the Extinction modes, and I never beat Meth. I've been to Meth multiple times, but I never beat him. Carry me through Meth. We'll see. Okay. Well, that's all the donations we have for this week. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this lively discussion of the Tortured Path and a lot of the zombie mechanics in Dead of the Night. That's for damn sure. We are on iTunes and Spotify, so you can always hear the audio renditions of these podcasts on there. We have a Patreon page if you want to support this show and make sure it keeps going. Head over there, support a tier. We keep the tiers relatively low, and we charge on a per-show basis, so we only hit you at a max 4 times a month. You get access to bonus shows and custom zombie gameplay when we play it, and you can participate in Topic Time that we directly talk about at the end of the show. I have a poster sale selling Resident Evil posters right now, Resident Evil 3 posters, so you can go over to my website and check that out. And we will have more mainframe episodes and live streams as the weeks go on. Anything else that you want to shout out, John?
No, that's about it.
Okay. Matthew Vision says, Reed, if you do decide to cut her nails, use flour to stop any bleeding. Okay. I'll take that as a note. I missed your dono, Black Diamond. Did I? I did. Thank you. Oh, I missed a whole bunch of them. Shangri-La on Mars donated $5. It says, do I have a Wii? Of course, everybody has a Wii. Black Diamond 115 says, my biggest gripe with World War II was the lack of a good pack-a-punch camo on most maps. No laser-like sounds.
Black Ops 2 camo was ugly.
Well, he said World War II.
Oh.
And I agree. And I also think BO1's circuit board sucked. No laser-like sounds when you fired Pack-a-Punch weapons, and the lack of fantastical wonder weapons until Frozen Dawn. Other than that, I really enjoyed World War II. I hate the sounds of Pack-a-Punch over the years, where just pew 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 pew. I liked it the most in World at War, where it still sounded like it still sounded like a gun, and then just the sounds never evolved. They just got more into these ray guns, and then the weaponry got more and more into space and sci-fi and fantasy. Okay.
I liked it. I like the sound.
Fair enough. That's enough. We'll be back probably next week for another episode of Zombros at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We gotta get Tim Hansen on the show. Tim wants to be on the show, so maybe he'll be next week or the weekend. Oh no! Oh fuck! Next week is that guy that camps.
Yeah.
Right. We should definitely say that. Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. He
probably. I still got to talk to him. Okay.
Oh, we didn't solidify the date.
Well, no, he said to be up to go on the show, but
Gotcha.
like we haven't.
Gotcha. We got to
nailed out any details, so I don't want to say too much.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we're in it. We're trying to get him. He's returned, and we're both extremely happy to see him posting content again. So there we are. Sorry, didn't know that. Right on.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see you guys in a week or so. Take care. Be safe, and have an absolutely wonderful day. Thanks for watching this episode of Zombros.